So you guys are setting out in the morning, and you have a more or less uneventful journey there. River Leaper does seem to have difficulty moving from time to time. Like, it's clear that he's got some old injury with his leg that keeps him from moving his full speed. But he's a Goliath, so his stride is much bigger than any of yours.
And anytime we meet a river, he's got it covered.
Just leaps over it. River Leaper has brought along with him a great club, and he's got a longbow strung to his back, just in case of trouble. Does anybody milk River Leaper for information? Birdie said he might consider doing that when they were on the road.
Yes, I would like to. I go up to Red and just indicate that the two of us need to start asking questions because he knows a little bit more about the thing, and he's aware of Red's tattoo. And he definitely indicated he wanted to talk about that.
Oh yeah, I'm also curious as heck.
Okay. Does anybody else reveal their markings at this point?
I mean, I think that either we should all reveal them or none of us should reveal them.
I'm gonna ask what the deal with his forest is.
With his forest? What do you mean?
Because I had some very unsettling dreams.
And he smiles sheepishly and says that you decided to sleep in the in the White Mother's Grove.
And I say, well, it was very uncomfortable being underneath a roof.
He says that the White Mother has never chosen to reveal herself to him. And that the Moakton would no doubt say that you should be pleased that she revealed herself to you. Were you penalized in any way by not having a long rest, or were you already pretty much in good shape?
No, I'm already pretty much fine.
Okay.
So I like, basically, it's out of character, just kind of like, or in character, just kind of tired.
Okay. If you don't get a long rest tonight, it'll be a con save or start taking exhaustion.
Right.
So he starts asking details, like what happened, what did you see?
Yeah, and I go into it.
Okay. And so the rest of you, it becomes immediately apparent that Wendy is describing the mercurial figure that you all saw in the shallow scale tomb where you received your markings.
And I ask if he knows anything about Broderick McBroderick, because the last time I met him, he was coming out of that forest.
He says that McBroderick is a good friend. That he, amongst all the Moakton, he doesn't give much of a fig for the village council telling him where and when he can't leave and go to. Sometimes he leaves the village for weeks and months at a time. And as far as River Leaper knows, he's just an explorer. He just has a spark of wanderlust to him that the rest of the pig folk do not have. And that River Leaper really respects that. He can sympathize. In his younger days, he was much the same way.
All right, this is me pausing to let the rest of you kind of jump in.
Well, I don't know about the images that Wendy saw in her dream last night, but Red's markings, we all share similar ones. Razu pulls off the glove off her hand, mail, and the glove underneath, and reveals the palm of her hand.
And River Leaper examines it. He seems, you don't read surprise on him. He says that he suspected as much when he spoke to Birdie last night.
Rolled a 3.
Yeah.
He said Red had one of these markings, and he actually made little finger motions with his hands.
Yeah, like Red, quote unquote. And then he, like, cleared his throat every time he said Red's name.
Yeah.
He says that he's seen their like before.
Where?
He asks if any of you have been to the Underdark.
No, I haven't.
He asks if any of you have had the distinct pleasure, he says very sarcastically, of meeting a dark elf.
I'm gonna say that Birdie has, and that's like possibly in dealings with the hungry fog here,
Okay.
because that's where he would have seen it. Because I picked Undercommon in his language.
So let's pause real quick and talk about Southlings for a second and your guys' outlook on them. Elves are the haughty, magical race amongst the Southlings. They don't venture into your Northlands very often, and it's unlikely any of you have met or crossed paths with them. But if you have, and if you have an interesting outlook on elves, now would be the time to share it.
Interesting, probably not, but
No.
Rosie thinks all Southlings are scum.
I was thinking about who would have made Adrix into the rangery type, but I think it's more human than it would be more of a chance of a human than an elf.
Okay. He doesn't go into a lot of detail. He likes to... There's a lot of topics that you see are either uncomfortable for him to share or he thinks aren't relevant to the conversation. But he says that at one point he was living in a little bolt hole in the Underdark. And Grandfather Dreamer sent him a vision. And the monsters that he then describes are indecipherable. They're just horrors from the deep parts of the world. And he was instructed to find shelter in the tower of a priestess of Lolth. So he traveled there and found her to be a very unpalatable mistress. She was a dark elf, and that was her best quality. He stole something from her, and in doing so, essentially exiled himself from that place. That's why he had to come to the surface world and eventually found the village of Asera Fall, and when he saw that they had a powerful glamour there defending themselves, he thought it would be an excellent place to set up shop. He said that the thing he stole, he doesn't understand why he stole it, he doesn't understand why he needs it, but he decided to not keep it in the village. So he hid it at White Mother's Spring. But now he understands he's supposed to hide it to you. Or he's supposed to give it to you. And he knows this because the marking on the stone is similar to the one that he sees on Red's face and on Rasu's hand. And he says that the priestess, and I'm stalling now because I'm going to my NPC list. Her name is Arkenth. She had many of these stones. He doesn't know if she was collecting them or creating them or what they're for, but she had a lot of them.
Did they all have the same symbol?
No, many different symbols. But he was drawn to this particular one because it had a symbol that was shown to him by Grandfather Dreamer. Who, again, I just want to point out, is Aunt Nancy.
I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
Who even is Aunt Nancy anyway?
Birdie is trying very hard to play it cool about how excited he is that he's gonna get to look at this stone with this symbol.
Is he hoping it's not shiny so he doesn't have to turn it over to the Black Dragon?
Well, he's kind of decided that the thing he wants to hoard, because he's decided we're moving around so much that he can't carry anything.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to stockpile knowledge for the Black Dragon.
Okay.
And offer that.
How shiny is knowledge is the question.
Yeah, because that way he gets to keep it and give it to the dragon.
Anything else you guys want to bring up with River Leaper on your way?
No.
Okay. And eventually, you start entering into the foothills. The land becomes more and more rugged. And rocks and sands of all colors stretch out before you. And you see the red cliffs indicated by Father Oliver, and you see the carved place in between them. Wendy, are you scouting around at this time?
Yeah, I think so. Wendy's starting to get antsy because it's been a whole session and they haven't had any combat yet.
That just means you didn't attack the pig people, which was very nice of you.
Well, Wendy's just terrified. Like, it seems like it's time for a random encounter.
I rolled random encounters. I got a 3 and a 6, so...
Oh darn.
I've been making my group real nervous in Ravenloft, rolling those.
It's an indication that you're playing Ravenloft correctly. Okay, Wendy. Very difficult to get visuals when you go into the cliffs. There are just deep gouges and ravines crisscross. And you can see some of them are open to the sky. Some of them are not. At some point, the path goes in between... not a cave necessarily, but where the walls actually meet to a point above. So they would still have some measure of sunlight, but you don't have eyes from above. You're not able to find the spring, so the spring must be in one of those areas. However, the path that Father Oliver has indicated, you see eventually splits off into 3 distinct ravines that rejoin. So if you're going to approach the spring, you have the choice of approaching from the west, from the south, or the southeast.
And each of these have no vision from the sky?
Make a perception check.
You got it.
Make this... Don't make it a disadvantage, just roll it. I'll just set a higher DC.
Okay.
You're trying to get a sense of the place in the little bolt holes that you can see down.
Yeah, that's a 12.
A 12, okay. Yeah, you see where these... Eventually, when your group marches into this ravine, they're going to have to choose one of these 3 paths to approach the spring. More information than that, you do not have.
Alright.
Could I roll... could I roll, survival to try and figure out which would be the most advantageous?
You don't know anything about the 3 paths yet, because you've just got this
Don't know
gouge
anything?
going into the walls. Yeah, once the
Alright.
path goes into the ravine, you don't know what's going to happen. Go ahead and make that survival roll anyway, though. I'll give you a
Alright.
survival check here to see if you can get some information from the ground that Wendy might not have.
Haha! That's a 5.
A 5. You're looking, and I mean, you're like, man, I had way too much ale last night. It's a good thing Wendy's
Yeah.
up there.
Rolling those 6s.
Yeah.
So
Wendy's
Wendy
got
returns
my
to the
back.
group and lets you know about this option that you're going to have. Once you go into the ravine, you'll kind of be at the mercy of anybody who knows the land better than you do. River Leaper knows how to get to the spring, but there's a lot of paths that wind out through these foothills, eventually leaving out, heading up into the more mountainous peaks. So you're going to have to make a choice based on pretty much no information. West, south, or southeast.
I say southeast.
Why?
'Cause I like being contrarian.
Southeast. I
Southeast?
rolled a 6.
Did we decide if there was a group leader who makes decisions like this?
No, we
Nope.
decided there's not one.
Okay.
I
And
just rolled a
Southeast seems good
D6.
enough to me. I don't see
Yeah,
why one
sounds
of
fun.
them...
Okay.
Yeah.
Razu is taking the lead because, as I established, Razu would assume that she's leading, although not always, not all the time it happens. Whether the other people listen to her, that's up to them.
Okay. Don't want to load new background.
There's 17 dragon turtles waiting.
Now,
Thank you.
this map, I actually found this guy's DeviantArt, and he has lots of maps that are this quality. So I might
Oh,
end up using
nice.
some of his stuff. And actually, I have to give him a shout out eventually. I just don't know his name.
You have to link him or something.
Link Bong 420.
Sometimes I feel bad stealing everybody's maps, but then I'm thinking, like, if they didn't want people to use them, they wouldn't put them on their DeviantArt. So, but yeah, he's got a ton. I downloaded a bunch of his maps, just stuff that I could design a whole adventure around this. So you guys are coming in from this path here. So from about this position, like just off of the map as you come in, you can start hearing the babbling of the spring. This is where you'll have to make a decision to send a stealthy scout in to find out what's going on. What you can see from this point, the rocks above you meet overhead, about 80 some odd feet in the air. 10 or 20 feet up, you've got these smaller cliffs that you can see that are about half, the tallest of them are halfway between the ground and the air. Windy. First of all, this whole map is in dim light. There are a couple of streaks of sunlight through holes in the ceiling, but not very many. The most prominent of them is in the area over the spring itself. This center area is bright light, but beyond that is very dim. So, Wendy, you can look up and see a few places where you could fly through, but the rocks there look to be jagged. It would be difficult to, say, dive bomb through one at full speed. You'd have to be very careful coming up and down through them. But yeah, you can see the tallest point inside is this here. You can see rising up to your left, and then a smaller cliff rising up to your right. So what's next?
Birdie volunteers to go first.
And Razu turns to Birdie and says, "Scout it out and
And I'm gonna- Can I get up here, Breck?
Yes, you can either march along this little switchback, or you can you're able to fly everywhere inside the cave. There's no difficulty.
All right, I'm gonna flutter my way up here, and I'm also gonna attempt to stealth my way over to like here.
Okay.
Oh, y'all are stealthing.
I'm gonna land here and then stealth.
Okay. So, Birdie and Windy, go ahead and let's see some stealth checks.
$12.
How'd Birdie do?
24.
Okay. So yeah, Windy, you sneak your way up to here. Getting up here, you have a really good vantage of the area. You can see the little bit of sunlight that streams down through the various holes. You can see plants greedily growing in those areas. The little spring looks very appetizing. This is a crystal clear spring. You don't hear any animals or insects in the area, but you can see the other two paths you didn't take, snaking off in either direction. This middle spire here goes all the way up to the roof. You see there's not like a light patch to land on it, but you do have a cliff here, and then one up here.
That last bit is probably gonna be what makes me the most nervous, because I'm looking at this spring and it looks very appealing, but I still don't hear any animals.
No, the most overwhelming sound right now is the babbling of the spring. Roll me a perception check. Birdie, where do you go?
I go to this foliage right here.
Okay.
Just kind of peer along the sides.
It's a 16, Brick?
Did you roll at a disadvantage?
No,
You're in dim light.
I did not.
So you're going to check out this little foliage here?
Well, I was going to go kind of like next to this foliage, and I'm trying to peer down this path as best I can.
This path here snakes downward and to the right, kind of sharply. And Windy doesn't have a good view down there from where she is, because it turns a corner and goes behind the rocks. Where you are, looking directly down the path, you see footprints in the dust. Specifically, you see hoof prints. And to you, they look like the prints you've seen all over Acera Fall. You wonder if the pig folk have been here.
Still a 16, Brick.
16? Perception?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are the rest of you? Just hanging back until a report comes home?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't stealth.
Okay, so Birdie, do you do anything else?
I'm going to go back and report the hoof prints. I figured that with Windy on Overwatch up there, nothing's going to sneak up on us.
Okay.
Yep, and I haven't seen anything interesting enough to report, so I'm just going to stay here.
All right. So yeah, Birdie comes back and reports seeing hoof prints in the dust leading down around that corner. And it gets darker
Were they
and darker
old,
the
or-
further down it goes.
Do you know how recent they might have been?
I didn't take a close look.
Make me a certain survival check.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. Do I need to make that at disadvantage?
No.
Okay, so that would be a 25.
They're not tracks, by which I mean it's not just somebody walking down. They look like hoof prints showing that the place is in use. You see, they're back and forth. They're layered over each other. Somebody's using this area for something, and whoever has hooves. And now that you've noticed them, you're starting to see them pretty much everywhere around the area, but mostly condensed around that spot you were looking that leads out towards the right.
Razu turns to Riverleap and says, "You said that the people of Ysera Fall don't come here very often?"
He says that, to his knowledge, they don't ever come here. And then he
This is a
hefts
lot.
his great club, and he says that can only mean the Ikaria are in the area.
Okay.
And he's definitely on guard now.
Yeah, Razu readies her weapon and then says, "All right, let's be on our guard and secure the area."
Okay, so Rasu starts marching. So who is carrying... it's a relatively bulky parcel. Like, it's going to actually... There's got to be enough of this, like, gruel mash for Rasu to spread over most of her body. Who's carrying that package?
I think we should leave it by the entrance, safely out of the way if we're expecting trouble.
Why?
I mean, so the default is always Adrix. So unless something has changed, Adrix is carrying it.
So is
Okay.
Adrix carrying it with him now, or is he going to lay it down at the entrance like Birdie suggests?
If Birdie actually vocally suggests that to Adrix,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. I'm saying I think we...
Adrix,
Razu dissents.
draw me a little parcel where you're actually going to lay this down.
I will gladly draw you a parcel.
You're not going to be able to carry this and fight at the same time.
Yeah, that's where I figured you were going.
Well, we should probably keep it somewhere where we at least still have eyes on it.
Okay, well then, Rasa, you draw me out where you want Adrix to put the parcel. If you're so particular. You know what's good? Tea with honey in it.
I say we
I
say
like
we
green tea.
drop it here because then we can probably keep a good eye on it.
Okay. Yeah, you find a little outcropping underneath there. And you slide it under. It's kind of in the shadows.
Okay.
All right, what's next?
Again, Razu readies her weapon and starts stepping out here.
So if no one has lit a torch yet, Adrix is lighting.
Yeah, that was my next. What is? Does anybody have a light source? And if not, I mean, it's dim light, so those of you with dark vision can see fine.
Well, those of us with dark vision can see as if it were dim light.
No, those of you with dark vision can see as though it's bright light, because the light in here is dim. You've got an area of bright light around here, but the rest of the map is dim. So dark vision people are not at any kind of penalty.
Actually, give me a sec.
I didn't mean to roll those dice. I dropped those.
Sure.
Do not be alarmed. Those were...
Cantrips are free, right? We don't need to spend a blip for a cantrip.
You don't need to spend a blip, but you can only do it as many times per short rest as your...
Intelligence
modifier.
Well, so here's the thing. Since no one else is providing light, and Adrix, both of his hands free in case combat breaks out, he's going to use his cantrip. Dancing Lights.
Dancing lights.
So
This
that's
is
4 torches. And they shed dim light in a 10-foot radius.
Well, then they're just dim. We're already dim.
Can't you put them together to make like?
Yes, I can.
You can make like a person made out of light. Okay, and it's not a concentration spell.
It is a concentration spell.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a big
Oh, there
C
is.
next to
It's
duration.
really tiny on my app. It is a concentration spell. Okay.
Is that actually providing any benefit though? Because they provide dim light, and we're in dim light.
Are the tracks still just all over the place, going in multiple different directions, not just down off to the right here?
They look more concentrated going down off to the right, but yeah, they kind of are all over the place. But yeah, dancing light does not create bright light, only dim light. So you're not getting any mid-kit. You can do it if you just want colorful lights dancing around. I'm fine with that.
He does,
Okay.
and then when he realizes this is actually going to be helpful, he grumbles and lights a torch.
Okay.
I really need that spell to be better, he says under his breath. Lights a torch.
What do you want?
I should have picked a better cantrip.
He's not going to be happy until he spellcrafts prismatic spray.
You talking like he doesn't want all his ranger spells?
So yeah, Rossi, you come out here, and then you can... Birdie indicates where he saw the tracks going down to the side. Are you guys able to see the squares on this map? Because I was wondering if I should put lines down or not.
They're a little dim, but I think we can manage.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
I'll approach the spring.
You approach the edge of the spring. Who coached Rasu on the prayer she's going to need to speak?
Would probably be Red.
Red?
Think so?
I'll do it. I
It
coached
seems
her.
more like Wendy's wheelhouse.
Wendy, what do you teach her to say?
Oh, Breck, this isn't fair. Wendy's has a much better memory than I do. Her wisdom score is like 18. And it's in a language I don't speak. Actually, yeah, so specifically this cantrip, I actually think it would have to be Red, because Red, you're the only one who speaks Sylvan.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was I thought it was in the Pigman language.
It's a
No, the
Moncton
prayer
prayer,
itself-
but it's spoken in Sylvan.
Yeah, it's in Sylvan like the kid was saying. I don't actually remember out of character.
The prayer is, White
Let's see
Mother
if I
see
have it.
me, White Mother cleanse me.
I remember that.
I was about to say, let me see if I have that in my notes. So yeah, I will teach her to say that.
Okay. And what do the rest of you do as Rasu begins the ritual?
Birdie starts climbing up these cliffs to try and get here.
Okay.
I'm happy where I
Are
am.
you still sneaking up there?
He's trying to do it as quietly as he can, but you know. he's also-
Make a stealth check. Do so with disadvantage, because there's places where you're climbing up this wall where you don't really have any way to hide from prying eyes.
I think Red's gonna move over to this side of the canyon and kind of try and duck out of sight. Keep his eye on Razu.
Okay. Are you hiding
So-
there in that position?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
go
I
ahead
would
and-
like to make a hide
So
attempt.
I might have rolled a 1.
You might have.
Yeah.
This might be. Is this a situation where blips might come into play?
Nah. Don't be a coward.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, I don't.
That's
have,
a 21 for Red.
Okay.
So
And
no,
Adrix
I
is just
rolled.
hanging out right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll save the blips for when people are actively trying to kill me.
So, Rasu, your instructions are when you come up, you're supposed to disrobe, slather yourself in this material, wade out into the spring and speak this prayer, and the White Mother will bestow a boon upon you.
Okay.
Now, the parcel's way back here.
Yep.
So
Rasu's
You staked out the area. It seems pretty quiet.
then Rasu will double back, go grab the parcel, haul it back over toward the to the side of the to
Rasu
the
and
corner.
Adrix, make me a perception check. Make it at disadvantage.
Oh, that's a 3.
Okay. So between
Rasu-
Windy and Birdie and Red, you guys have a pretty good look on the area. Everything seems kind of quiet. Nothing seems to be happening. Rasu goes and retrieves the parcel.
Perception is only a 6.
Yep, didn't do it.
20 I don't get to use.
Go ahead and throw that 20 away. I did see on Twitter earlier this week that somebody made a little dice jail for dice that roll poorly.
Mm. I like that.
So what's next?
Rasu's gonna start to disrobe.
Okay. And Red gets an eyeful from his vantage point in the bushes.
Armor, underclothes, everything.
Yeah, it takes like 10 minutes.
Yep. And so let me go ahead and go to my character sheet and disable my armor for purposes of this combat that's inevitable.
What combat? What are you talking about? If we were gonna have combat here, would they call this a friendship mat?
Hang on 1 second. Let's see. Chainmail. Unwear. My AC is butt.
So,
then I'll start
like,
putting the
Rasu-
goop all over me.
Rasu has like horns and fangs and like red
She's
fur.
pointed. She's reddish fur, pointed ears, pretty pronounced canine teeth.
No, that was Riot.
Just saying that Volos has artwork of a female hobgoblin like ninja that's very disconcerting. And you start slathering the stuff on your body.
Yep, and then once that's done, she'll step out into the water.
Okay, let's roll some initiative.
Of course.
Yeah.
I saw this coming in my
It's
life.
water elementals.
God,
None
I
of us
hope
saw
so.
it coming because it's transparent.
It's actually, there's no spring, it's just a big gelatinous ooze.
Oh gosh.
Oh, the canyon was so clean.
Go ahead and place, you have a green marker for River Leaper, go ahead and place him where you want him.
Oh.
Okay.
Put him in jail.
Can we get a green token for his initiative as well?
28 initiative. No, come on.
Yeah.
No.
For real.
No.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
How the hell do you have 28 initiative?
It's not even
I
a
have-
real number.
I have +9 initiative.
How do you have +9
do you
initiative?
plus-
I'm a scout.
I'm willing to buy it as a class feature.
Alright.
What's the class feature?
Oh, I took alert. It's +5. That's
Oh,
fine.
that might do it, yeah.
That's a feat.
That makes more
fair enough.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not scout. It's for my feet. Yeah.
Okay, so Rasu slathers herself up with this psychedelic gruel, and make me a constitution check at advantage.
I actually have some points in this, so it shouldn't be too
You
bad.
should be trained in it, I think.
I'm not trained. Is it a saving throw or a check?
I'm sorry, a save. Constitution save at advantage.
Okay. That is... Well, I'm not trained in it, but that is a 12.
Okay. And you haven't partaken yourself, but you've heard some of your companions talk about the ooks from the village, which is what this kind of like wet mash is made of. And you think you can feel the tingly as you put it, as it like meshes into your fur. Like you can feel it like starting to take minor effects. And then Birdie gets shanked. Birdie, you are surprised.
Birdie is immune to surprise. He cannot be surprised while he's conscious.
Cannot be surprised while you're conscious. In that case, you feel the hand of a kobold reach out and grab your neck, and you realize you've got a split second before your throat is opened up.
Okay.
Disengage.
I'm going to use my cunning action to disengage and just try to wiggle out and get away as far away as I can.
To be clear, you're not grappled at all.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to disengage and move as far down as I can. How climbing down like this? How much?
Count it as difficult terrain, unless you... I mean,
So
in
that's-
combat, you're not going to have time to use climbing gear. But each of these is a... We'll call this a 5-foot drop, and the other two a 10-foot drop. You could jump those safely,
Okay.
and using no movement.
Okay. So I think the squares here. Hold on. Disengage. I'm going to just move all the way down here
Okay.
and turn around. And if I can still see him, shoot my bow at him.
Yeah, looking up, you can see this winged kobold holding this wicked-looking serrated knife in his hand, and he was about to open you up.
All right. So that is 18 plus 6, 19.
19 will hit.
Okay, so I don't have advantage, so that's just a d6. So 6 points of damage.
You're fighting your regular arrow or one of your +1 arrows?
No, my regular arrows.
Very good.
And I'm just screaming while I'm doing this.
So Rasu, no sooner do you get naked and cover yourself in oatmeal than you hear Birdie shouting, "We're being attacked."
Squawking.
That's gonna bring us to
Razu's-
my kobold.
Razu was thinking, this is the perfect place for an ambush.
And he's
And of
flying out over
course-
here. It's not your turn. You're surprised.
I know.
Yeah, he's gonna hit you with a sling down there, buddy. Birdie. At this point, you're fine, but if you get any closer to this area here, you'll be standing in direct sunlight.
Okay.
Just so you know. Okay. Oh, this is your lucky day. Out of 5. As this man eats an arrow, and he whips this sling bullet at you, and he just crashes into the bushes right next to you. He is not perched on this ledge. He is flying about 30 or 40 feet up off the ground there.
Winged kobolds.
And at this point, you hear a lot of commotion coming off from your left, down the path where you saw all the tracks. That's going to bring us to Windy is surprised. Red is surprised. Adrix is surprised. Rasu is surprised. And then, what is their movement? For probably the first time, Nodal, are you like putting yourself in charge of everybody flying? Is that what's happening here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I also just realized I have the power to scale.
Use it responsibly.
I am. Look how responsible that is.
Emerging from around the corner, down in the darkness, 3 of the yak folk emerge. These are huge creatures. The pig folk are kind of big for humanoids. These guys are monstrous. These guys easily stand as tall as River Leaper. Where is he, by the way? He's over here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, these guys stand as tall as River Leaper, but they have a lot of mass where he doesn't. Each one of them, you see, is armed with a greatsword. And they all pull their bows out.
Hey, Brick.
Yes, sir.
I have a quick question for you.
I like questions.
Dim light is concealment, right? What's the difference between concealment and cover?
Concealment is partial cover.
Okay.
So, for purposes of sharpshooter, you can ignore that.
That was my question, yes. Thank you.
So they can see Birdie and they have a clear shot. They can't see Windy because of the curvature of the land. And Adrix, they probably can't see him either. So, Birdie, it looks like this is your lucky day, my friend.
Adrix does have a torch. I don't know if that would help, though, because it is curved.
I mean, it won't help them shoot you, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
They can probably see the glow from your torch. Where is your torch, by the way? Are you holding it instead of a sword?
He's still holding it for the time being. But it's probably going to collapse to the floor once.
All right, let's start throwing arrows at my good friend Birdie. Birdie, I have a 13 and a 6.
You need a 15.
Second guy has a 7 and an 11. Third guy has a 10 and a 10. And you step out, you fling an arrow up the cliff, and you call out, you're being attacked. You hear the thunder of yak folk step into your line over to your left, and you realize you're a sitting duck. You kind of wince, just waiting to be peppered with arrows, and you hear these bone arrows landing at your feet all around you. And then you hear a loud, unearthly cry from in that direction behind the yak folk, and it just cries out, "Thud, thud, angry!" Back to Birdie.
Okay, Birdie is going to go down here next to Adrix and shoot an arrow at the kobold again.
Okay.
And get out of the line of fire.
Okay.
So that would be a 8 plus 6. 14.
14 hits.
Okay. For 9 points of damage.
9 points. And you just knock him out of the sky. You pierce him right through his scales, and he crashes into that cliff. Congratulations, you're a murderer.
It's not murder if they're shooting at you first.
He tried to stab me, I would like to point out.
I don't think kobolds consider kinslaying to be a sin, so you're probably okay. And you're moving or staying put there?
I'm staying put.
Okay. Windy.
Yes, that's me.
That's you.
Everything works out fine for you.
Because they still can't see red, but you're just kind of standing up there in the open.
Yeah, like a jackass.
Windy, I have a 22
I'll hit.
and a 23.
Both of those will hit, it turns out.
I could not get a critical, though.
Hate to see that happen to you.
Poor baby.
First sling bullet is 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alright.
The second sling bullet's going to be 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Alright, I am going to remove that.
Okay. And you now see 2 more Urds swooping out of their hiding place from wherever they were, slinging bullets at you. So they're flying about 30, 40 feet off the ground in this position.
I'd roll, but I super don't need to for 5 damage.
And you hear roaring continue off in the direction where the Yak folk are emerging. That brings us to Windy.
Alright. I'm going to pay that shot back by whistling out a bonus action and tossing off a sharpshooter shot
Okay.
at this guy.
So what is that bonus action?
The bonus action is if I hit, I add a d4 of damage.
I mean, what's the name of the feature?
Oh, it is Kenzei, Path of the Kenzei.
Okay.
Literally called Path of the Kenzei.
Do those cost key points or not?
No, that's free.
Okay.
It's meant to make my ranged attacks be okay, even though I don't get to use my unarmed attacks. That's a 16 to hit.
That'll hit.
All right. I'll roll out some damage, even though I'm going to have to say, really don't think I'm going to need to.
I mean, don't say they're just kobolds. You'll hurt Birdie's feelings.
Well, I mean, let's be real here. That's 8 plus 4 is 12, 22 damage.
Which one of these
piercing.
poor bastards did you shoot?
This one right here.
And you blow him out of the sky.
He's the one who shot me.
Well, they both shot you.
Well, yeah, but he's the one who actually hit.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. And then moving or staying put?
I'm good here.
Okay.
And I start drawing a bead on the second one.
Red, you just watched as these 2 winged kobolds emerged from the shadows up on this cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Right above where you're hiding. Literally right above you. And they both shot at Windy. You're pretty sure they have no idea you're there.
So, these are both winged kobolds?
Well, this is River Leaper. Don't shoot him.
Oh, sorry. Which
This-
one is just this one guy?
This is the only remaining kobold. Birdie killed one and Windy killed the other.
Alright, so I will, as an action, take a shot at him with a short bow.
Okay.
Hit an
You
armor
get
class of
advantage
8.
for attacking from stealth.
You do get advantage for attacking because you're hidden.
Excellent. That'll hit an armor class of 17.
You have dark vision, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Then 17 is good.
For 12 damage.
For 12 damage. And you have bloodied him severely. I mean, you've almost toppled him out of the sky. And he looks terrified. And he looks like he is rethinking some life decisions. Moving or staying put?
How high up is he?
About 30, 40 feet.
Is it 30 or 40? Sorry, it's important.
It is 37.2 feet.
Okay, then.
Got the protractor out.
In that case, I will move. And cunning action to move again.
Okay. And as you round this corner, you can very clearly see the yak folk charging up the path.
Actually, non-cipher bonus. I'm going to go and make sure that Razu isn't getting jumped on.
Okay.
So, there. I'll end my turn there.
Ah, the non-cipher bonus is my favorite. It's going to bring us to Adrex.
All right. What is the light situation over by the yak folk?
It's dim light where you're standing, and it gets darker and darker the further it goes down.
Further it goes down. It basically sounds like if I hurl an axe, then at disadvantage, right?
Yes, because I mean, yeah, because you're in dim light, and so are they.
All right. Drop the torch, and let's roll an axe.
Okay. Now, if you drop a torch at your feet on their square, you roll at disadvantage against them, but they don't roll at disadvantage against you because you're standing in bright light.
Yeah, I know. That's why I dropped the torch next to Birdie.
Okay, go ahead and draw that out so we know where our torch is.
Okay. So.
You probably just take a yellow chit or something and do that.
Yeah, the X is fine. I mean, that looks exactly like a torch, right? That's what a torch looks like?
Yep.
We're good.
No, you're not to be trusted.
That hits an armor class of 10.
And the axe goes whistling, and you hear it hit stone somewhere down in the darkness.
Damn it! I have not picked back up the torch, just hiding.
Okay. Rasu, you're up.
Am I aware of the commotion that's going on?
Oh, yes,
out there?
absolutely. You've heard thunderous roars, and you've seen kobolds get pigged out of the sky. Thuds going ham somewhere.
I don't know. What's your passive perception?
Rasu clambers out of the water, picks up her halberd. Let's see, so it's 10, 20, 30. Actually, no, she's not going to pick up a halberd. She's going to pick up a javelin. She's going to move to here.
You could pick up both.
Yeah, she'll pick up javelin and her halberd then.
Okay.
And herk it at that guy.
All right, roll it.
Pick up what makes you happy.
I do love this map. This is a very handsome map.
It is very nice. That is a 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
All right, so that is going to be it. I'm having to alt tab because I only have one mon.
I like how clearing it is, but I don't like how uncircular it is.
That is 8 damage.
8. That's enough. You put the javelin. That's enough to finish him off. And the Urds are no more. Are you moving or staying put?
Staying put.
Okay. To the Yikari.
The Yikari Warriors.
Sounds like a Saturday morning cartoon.
I kept having to double check that I was typing that correctly because I'm like, there's no way my brain isn't just calling them the Ikari Warriors. Okay.
Should have just stuck to yak folk.
6. Two of the yak folk. Nobody has clear eyes on them at the moment, but I mean, they're not making any attempt to be quiet. I mean, they are thundering up this path with their swords drawn. It's gonna bring us. Oh, they're also wielding longbows. Well, you know, because I shot Birdie a whole bunch of times. That's gonna bring us to Birdie. It's your turn.
Okay, I'm going to, since they're charging for it, I'm going to move
Stop.
here.
Stop right there. That triggers their held actions. How much bright light does a torch give off? Is it 10 feet?
I think it's more than that.
Let me check my character sheet real quick.
I think it's the same as the light spell, so I'd say 20 feet.
20 feet.
Okay, then Birdie is standing in bright light at the moment, so no disadvantage on these rolls. Now let's see if I can pin cushion him appropriately. Birdie. You're about to have a bad day. I've got a 14.
Nope.
I have a critical hit.
Ouch.
I have another 14.
Nope.
And I have a 21.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can knock Birdie unconscious in one attack.
Again?
21 damage, piercing damage from the first hit.
Ooh. Yeah, he's Unless you roll unless you roll a 1 point, I'm out.
Second arrow does 8 points of piercing damage.
No, I'm out.
So Birdie runs out, and as soon as he's out in the open and the Yikari have a clear shot, they each... Oh, you know what? Cut that damage in half. They weren't supposed to take 2 shots there because they were using a readied action.
Mm.
They can't take 2 shots on a readied action. See, I do watch myself sometimes. It's just...
You're just so eager to kill a player character, bro. Come on
You're
now.
ready to multitask.
You're not supposed to be an adversary.
So that was what, 15, right?
That's what... I'm sorry?
I'm just doing math. That's 15 points of damage. You
Yeah.
said 21 plus 8.
Plus 8. But yeah, these arrows come whistling out. So are you still unconscious? Make me happy.
No.
No? Okay. What?
It's 14.
Now you can go ahead and finish your turn.
Okay, 14 damage then. Alright. Alright. I shoot this guy up here on the top
Okay.
with my bow.
You're in bright
And-
light, but not sunlight. So you're not
Yeah.
affected by your sensitivity. Although you're very close to that area.
Yeah. So that is a 13.
13 hits, actually.
Okay. 4 or 5 points of damage.
5 points.
And then I'm going to use the rest of my move to get out of there
Okay.
and move back here.
My mind.
And you duck back behind Adrix's torch. The good news is you have 2 Yikari arrows in you now. That's nice.
You recover exactly half of those.
And that's going to bring us... Oh, I don't have any more Urds. I'm so sad.
Oh no.
Something is making a lot of noise in that cave. And you start hearing crashes and stomps in that direction. And you hear one of the 3 Yikari call something out in their terrible Yak folk language. Back to Birdie.
No. Oh, wait.
I'm
is it?
Wendy.
Yeah.
I get mixed up because you're playing a bird, but your character isn't Birdie.
Yeah, you would think that we would have thought about this.
Nobody.
And you would be right. I'm going to stand up right on this edge here. So I'm
Okay.
in, like, plain sight now. And
not
I'm
from these
going
guys.
Really?
Yeah, they're close enough now.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a nice shot at this one.
Let's see if you can do better than Birdie. I mean Birdie.
What are they wearing?
Doesn't look like they're wearing any armor, but they have extremely thick, heavy fur, like a yak, because they're the Yak folk.
Oh, well, I'm going to give it a go and
Okay.
go for a sharpshooter. That's a 10 to hit.
10 doesn't do it.
At this point, I think the Birdie Windy confusion is just hilarious.
Yeah,
It's
arrow-
definitely pretty intentional at this point.
The arrow whistles by his ear.
I'm deciding whether or not I want to close into melee, and I don't think so. Not at this point.
Okay. It's going to bring us to...
But I
Right.
am going to move.
You are going to move.
Yeah, I'm going to move right here.
Flying over there?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your passive perception?
It is on my character sheet, 16.
16. Okay. That's going to bring us to red.
All right. Let's see here. No, I got something to work with. Give me a second, because some of these squares are a little bit hard to make out.
Yeah,
over
I'll
here
put
where it's
lines up next time I use this
overexposed.
guy's artwork. It's actually...
Well, it's just this one area over here where it's really like brightly exposed.
I
Yeah,
can-
they're fine everywhere else.
I can change that. That's the lighting in the engine here. Go ahead and take your turn while I'm...
Maybe move to like here. All right, so I will ready an action that
Okay.
when Adrix is adjacent to an enemy, I'm going to shoot that enemy, and then as a bonus action, I will. Oh, that's way better.
Yeah, that's
that's
much
good.
better.
There we go.
Yeah.
15, 20, 25. Yep, that's 30. I will ready an action for when Adrix is adjacent to an enemy, I will shoot them. And then as a bonus action, I will give 5, 10, 15, Windy advantage on attack rolls against this enemy.
Okay.
Definitely sharpshootering then. That's messed up that you did that.
Adrix, you're up.
Cowabunga!
I'm going to shoot this guy.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and take
It's
your
an
ready
armor
action.
class of 19.
19 is more than
You
enough.
also do have that at an advantage since he's adjacent to an ally now.
No,
No, I don't.
Oh wait, no, that's right. That's
Birdie.
that's Birdie.
That's 10 damage.
10 damage. All right, you put your arrow in it and get right through that heavy yak fur. And good news is, these assholes do bleed. Ajax,
What?
now what?
When was that?
All right, let's follow that up. I'm gonna stab him.
Okay.
Baby, you're a firework.
Um,
Okay.
12.
12 hits.
Oh, it does.
It does. Are you attacking the one that's been arrowed?
Yeah.
These guys are tough, but their ACs leave something to be desired. Next
I
time
really
I'll put all
messed
the
up with
yak
that,
folk
too.
in full plate. It'll be great.
We know what their AC is.
That is 9.
9? Okay. Is that it for Adrix?
And I'm going to use a superiority die to rally. So, Birdie, get back. Birdie, get back.
Do you have to be able to see
Oh,
Birdie to do
4
this?
hit points. No.
No? Okay.
It's a
She's a
shout.
friendly creature who can see or hear.
Okay.
So it's basically me shouting, "Yo, Birdie, you can do it! I believe in you!"
They're just arrows. They'll come out later. It'll be great.
It's only 4 hit points though, because Ajax isn't terribly convincing, I guess.
It's going to bring us to Rasu. And Rasu, as you go to move, you see River Leaper moving in conjunction with you. It looks like he's following your lead.
Rasu goes over next to her gear, snatches up another javelin, steps over here. Do I have line of sight to either of those nerds?
I'm going to give them partial cover because you're coming from around this corner. You're going down this kind of steepish slope, and you've got the big dragonborn in the way. So yeah, I'll let you roll, but I'm going to give them partial cover.
Okay. All right then. And let's herk a javelin.
Okay.
That is a 19 to hit.
19 does it.
Pleased to enjoy this 5 points of damage. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put some stank on that.
Okay. I've already applied the 5, so just tell me what the stank amounts to.
Actually, let me double check something real quick. Yeah, 2d8. Plus another 11 radiant damage.
11 radiant.
Yep.
Okay. Your javelin pierces this thing's thick fur, and then you light him up with the radiance of your naked conquests. And as soon as you do that, River Leaper standing next to you. Oh, he doesn't have a longbow. He has a crossbow. I'm sorry. So many longbows in this game, I forgot what he had. He lets loose a bolt that finds Purchase and also deals some more damage. And you see this first of the 3 Yukari warriors is now bloodied.
Okay. Rasu steps back to grab another javelin, get ready.
Okay, so River Leaper's just moving along with you, and he's going to attack whenever you do. He considers... make an insight. Well, don't make an insight check. We're in combat. What's your passive insight? 10 plus your insight score.
Passive insight is 11.
11? Okay. He might just be trying to check you out. You have no idea. That's going to bring us to my Yukari. All right, Adrex. How many arrows do you want?
I want all the arrows.
All of them?
Pelt me with all the arrows.
Don't take them all. I want some.
I've only got 2. Well, this one's not going to hit. This one I've got a 12. This one back here seems like he does not want to advance. He loses 2 arrows at you. They both go wide.
Oh.
The other 2 are going to get fancy pants with their great swords.
All right.
And you're standing in bright light, so they don't have to roll a disadvantage. Beautiful. All right. I have a 22,
Sure.
17,
Uh-huh.
another 17,
Uh-huh.
and a 20.
All right. That's all floor.
And
Oh,
this is
Adrix.
gonna hurt. First great sword hit. That's a lot of damage.
Christ.
23 points of slashing damage.
All right.
Second,
Oh, Adrix, you're so fucked.
second great sword hit. 10 slashing damage.
Really?
Really?
Oh, you're so fucked.
Third great sword hit. 16 slashing damage.
And I'm down.
You're down. And then the last hit gives you two failed death saves.
I'll need you to take my
These
arrows.
guys slaughter Adrix. These creatures, they have his bulk, easily. They don't have his strength, necessarily, but they're easily dwarf him in size. And they're great swords. Adrix would need 2 hands to lift it. And they just cleave him in half. He falls to the ground. And then... they step forward on red. That's going to bring us to... Birdie.
I'm going to... Now, if I don't trigger an attack of opportunity by running this way, running...
No, as long as you don't stand in a square next to them at any point.
I didn't know if their swords had that reach. But anyway, I'm going to run here, and I'm going to dig through Adrix's pack and look for a potion of healing.
Does Adrix still have one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you got the sheet open, I guess. Yeah, no problem. You find the potion of healing and you dump it down Adrix's maw.
Well, wait, don't get ahead of yourself, Brick. He might have wanted to drink that himself.
No, maybe.
No, I give it to Adrix.
Hey, Adrix, how many hit points does he get back?
2d4 plus 4.
No, 2d4 plus 1.
I thought it was plus 2. We'll say it's plus 2 because that's what my memory says. So 7 plus
9
2.
hit points. 9 hit points.
And the pain you feel as you black out momentarily, you're like, I could really go for some more of that summer beer. Adrix,
Right.
you're laying
Oh.
prone in that square. Birdie, are you staying put there?
I'm going to... Yes, I'm going to stay next to Adrix.
And you hear, again, a loud crashing noise. And you hear the loud voice ring out, Thud Thud Angry! And now, Adrix and Birdie, you both have an excellent view of
Thud.
Thud Thud. Thud Thud is an Etten.
Is it what?
An Etten.
Oh, gosh.
2-headed giant. And it comes flying out of this cave. And what is Adrix and Birdie's passive insights?
That's 10 plus insight, right?
Yes.
11.
13.
13. Has Birdie ever met an Etten before?
Probably not.
It's a horrifying 2-headed giant. And it's carrying in each hand, it's got these enormous morning stars with spiked metal heads on them. And one of them, he's swinging around over his head violently. The other one, his other arm hangs slack, and he's kind of just dragging it along the ground. And he crashes it into the head of this Yikari.
I thought you were going to say when you asked their passive insight, you can tell Thud Thud is angry.
Thud Thud, I mean, he's definitely angry. Oh my god, that's 2 hits. Okay. I always feel bad when I have to roll damage from like one NPC to another because it's like it's weird for me, but
It's like killing your children.
Thud Thud's not an ally. We still get that EXP. I'm not splitting it with Thud Thud.
no, it's not like killing my children. I know that there's a lull in the gameplay as I math behind the scenes here. But yeah, you see Thud Thud come tearing out, dragging behind him around his waist and around his legs. You see lengths of broken chain. And this Yikari here, who looks like he's about to line up a shot, put one right back into Adrix to make sure that he stays down this time. He looks surprised and terrified when Thud Thud comes tearing out of this cave and crashes him upside the head and rings his bell. Windy, you have advantage on one of these guys. I forget which.
The one further to the south.
Okay. That one has not been damaged yet.
I take a nice shot on that boy with the sharpshooter.
Cool.
And add my bonus action to it. What? That's a hit.
That'll do it.
And quick character sheet check. Yep. Character sheet said what I already thought was true.
Beautiful.
That is 8 plus 10, so that's 18 piercing damage.
18.